One of the biggest reasons I see event companies fail is because they've homogenized their business. They become a commodity and they compete on price. Folks, if your business can be done by anybody in your community, if anybody can do what you do, and you're imitating your competition, and that's all you do, you have a commodity. And the only way to sell a commodity, increase the sale of a commodity, is to lower prices. That's not the place you want to be. But I see this all the time. For example, DJs, they all play the same music, the same sound, same lights, same everything. There's so many that do the same thing. There's a handful that are different, but so many, 90%, do the same thing. And so the public's perception is that this is a commodity. And if everything else is the same, what they're going to do is they're going to shop around and simply ask, how much do you charge? Caterers do the same thing. They imitate other caterers, and they let their customers imitate other parties, and they end up producing bland parties that are instantly forgettable. And nobody wants to do business with a company that's just simply doesn't even register on their minds as being event professionals. You can't afford to be boring in the special event business. If you are, you fail. Another thing that's affecting our business is the low barrier to entry. In other words, 10 years ago, it was much harder to enter any kind of business. For example, the special event business, DJ business, 10 years ago, it cost a lot of money. You had to buy hundreds of albums, real vinyl albums. You had to buy big, bulky equipment, which was hard to locate. It was expensive. It was heavy, hard to transport, and very difficult to use. And nowadays, anybody with an iPod can be a DJ. Wedding planner, for example. 10 years ago, you used to hide your Rolodex because your vendors were so valuable to you. Now your Rolodex is on the internet. All your vendors are exposed to the whole world. They can pick and choose. They can find out how much you charge and how much you pay for things. That's been exposed, and that will continue to be the case. If your business is simply a commodity, then that's a big problem for you. Because if they're just simply comparing one commodity provider to another commodity provider, the one with the lowest price always wins. That's why it's important to be a category of one. Another problem we're seeing here is category creep, sort of related to the low barrier to entry and the slowing economy. We see a lot of event specialists become event generalists. We're starting to see the florist become the caterer, and we're seeing the photographer creeping into DJ services, and we're starting to see, the limo service creep into security and so on. That's happening more and more. Again, the low barrier to entry is a big problem with that. The slowing economy, it's a big threat to you if you run a commoditized business. To really get a jump ahead of your competition, you've got to be on the web, and so many businesses are just not efficiently using the web. Your customers are on the web searching for event service providers. That's a fact. If they are not finding you, if they don't like what they see, if you're not attracting attention of qualified buyers, if your site looks like everybody else, if your service is just like everybody else, if you don't engage buyers with your site, then you're not going to succeed. If your business is fungible, if it's just a commodity, if it's exchangeable, replaceable, without anyone knowing the difference, then that's the formula for long-term disaster. Your business has to be a tough act to follow. You've got to be able to provide a service that's so difficult for anybody else to knock off. That's a position of strength. One thing I did was I put together an item for you and to help you create a strong brand online. And in my report, More Clients Now, what I do is I share with you 10 very powerful, they're effective, and they're free ways to get more customers. So whether you're a caterer or an event planner, wedding planner, photographer, designer, makeup artist, it doesn't matter. If you're in the live event industry, I suggest that you download a copy of that. It's extremely effective stuff if you haven't already downloaded that. Many people think that their business is slow because of the economy, but I have to tell you that a number of my associates are doing quite well. They're making more money this year than they were last year because they know how to market better than their competition. So you can sit there and you could just wait for the economy to get better, or you could take action now to grow your event business. So I hope that you decide to be bold and be daring and be different, and I wish you a whole bunch of success. Thanks so much. Let me know if you have any questions.